Welcome to the next installment of Dost Isms. I think this is episode 7 now at this point. In this one, we're going to talk about chains of title. We're going to talk about the chain of title as I've ascertained it from a mortgage loan, or let's say alleged mortgage loan, through Own It Mortgage Solutions. And I tracked this title. This is tracked up until about 4 or 5 years ago. And the way that you want to track a title, at least the way that I find the way to track a title, is not on the real estate side, because that's going to be pretty difficult to do, considering what you saw with that patent that I showed you the other day. Uh, the chain of title I ascertain through trademark filings, through patent filings, and through copyrights. And so let's just go through that chain of title real quick. And then what I'm going to start doing here in the next installment is start pulling up these actual agreements so you can see what's taking place here. Because what we're talking about here is we're talking about the transfer of data, the transfer of information, the transfer of rights and trademarks, rights and copyrights, rights and patents. Okay, so let's go ahead and share a screen here and see if I can bring this up successfully without screwing it up here. Share screen. Okay. So this is hold on a second. There we go. Okay, this is the copyrights that I've ascertained. Now, this was through Own It Mortgage Solutions, and I've tracked it through where it ended up daylighting with Aquin and Altisource. So these are the copyrights that I've found through that Altisource has, and the ones that are really pertinent to the daylighting of this so-called loan down the road. Now, this is not all of them, okay? Now, keep in mind that there are many other directions that this thing goes. I'm going to have to pin those ones down as well. That has to do with DNA. It has to do with like American Bioscience, for instance. It has to do with all these things that are very kind of cruel and very not going to be well accepted by people once they start seeing what's taking place here. But anyhow, so as far as the alleged mortgage loan is concerned, the copyright, there was a copyright transfer at Altisource Solutions, the SARL, which is Luxembourg, folks. This is not America. This is Luxembourg. It's not the United States. It's in Luxembourg. It's another copy transfer that from Altisource Solutions SARL, Altisource Holdings SARL, to be substantially simultaneously renamed Altisource SARL. And that's one thing you'll find out about these transfers, these assignments within patents and trademarks. You're going to find out how sneaky these little bastards are with the way that with their business arrangements, where there's constantly merging corporations into LLCs and then spinning off LLCs into other LLCs and other companies, and it's absolutely mind-numbing. It's absolutely disgraceful. But these are the games that these attorneys play, and attorneys, as we know, it's not Democrats or Republicans that run this country. It's patent attorneys and intellectual properties attorneys, and of course their business models that they have. They're not practicing law; they're practicing business models. Okay, moving on though. So we have a quit claim intellectual property agreement between Altisource SARL and Nationwide Credit Inc. We have a termination and release of security interests and copyrights. Bank of America, NA stands for National Association, of course. Altisource SARL, FKA, also known as Altisource Solutions, SARL, Nationwide Credit Inc. We have a copyright security agreement. Now, these are all copyright works for hire, okay? These are what we're employed in. We are made to be employed within these copyright works for hire. Okay. As this next one is copyright security agreement at Altisource SARL Nationwide Inc. and then Equator LLC. That's the computer code. And then Morgan Stanley Senior Funding Inc. And then copyright assignment from Equator to Altisource Solutions, and another copyright security agreement, Nationwide Credit, Altisource Solutions, SARL again, Bank of America. Here's a real interesting one. This one I find very, very interesting. This is a stock certificate, American Banknote Company. Boy, do I got a lot to show you on that. I've got a lot to show you on that that'll really pique your interest, I believe. And then there's a declaration by Aquin Financial Corporation, and then IMAP, which is a software of Aquin Technology Exchange, and then the affidavit of name change between REO Trans LLC that changed its name to Ecuador or Equator LLC. And then there's Equator Software that's registered. And of course, that's the computer code. Okay, so we move on here to the assignments. And for some reason, I don't know why these are not in order. I thought they were in order, but they're kind of not. And they're kind of out of order. So I got to re-put these in order. But these are the kind of the agreements that are listed within trademarks. So we've got over on the left-hand side here, we've got the assigner and assignee. So we've got the agreements between the assignor, which is what we are. We're made the assignor to these agreements through the intermediary that stole their identity through the MERS Nations Bank Agreement. But it's not MERS, okay? It's not MERS. It would be the attorneys to Altisource or the attorneys to Litton or to the attorneys to Barclays, so on and so forth. So this is how much these things change hands, okay? So this one was from Signer from Altisource to Aquin. Okay, and that was in 2010. And then we have an assigner, Aquin Financial Corp and Aquin Loan Servicing over to Barclays Bank PLC. And then we have Aquin Financial Corporation and Litton Loan Servicing over to Barclays PLC as collateral agent. And of course, the PLC, this is an English entity, which should not surprise you at all. And then we continue down here, Aquin Financial Corporation to Homeward Residential Inc. To Barclays Bank PLC, and then now over on the right-hand side, you'll see what it is, whether it's a security interest or trademark release or a second lien in this case. But this is a definition of what that agreement is. Most of them are security interest. Well, I won't say that. Most of them are not security interests. Some are security interests. Others are releases. Others are transfers, an outright transfer. So continuing down through this, we've got Altisource Solutions again, SARL, Altisource Holdings, SARL. That is in security interest to Altisource, SARL. So what are they doing here? Well, all they're doing is they're fucking around with renaming their entities and creating new entities is what they're doing. Then we have Altisource. Now we have a security interest between Altisource, SARL, and Nationwide Credit and the Mortgage Partnership of America over to Morgan Stanley Senior Funding, Inc. Okay, and then we've got continuing down here to 2018, we got Bank of America NA, Altisource SARL, Nationwide Credit Inc., the Mortgage Partnership of America LLC, over to Castleline Holdings. Okay, so now you can see where it's kind of transferring over to various holding companies. And this continues down. Okay, I'm not going to go through every single one of these. And you got then you have the Mortgage Partnership of America, which was a consolidation of all these. It's transferring everything back to Altisource Solutions. That's another thing that they do. It's another thing that these bastards do. What they'll do is they'll transfer, do an assignment from one, for instance, Altisource Solutions to Altisource SARL, or let's say to Bank of America, and then they'll reverse it, do the reciprocal transaction back from Bank of America NA to Altisource. So the games that they're playing within these trademark assignments is very upsetting. It's very angering. It's nothing but pure exploitation of people that are ignorant of what the hell's going on and haven't been told what the fuck's going on. Okay, now we get into some more interesting things here. Back in 1995, 1998, and these years, and we're going to talk about this quite a bit. Inference Corporation is the patent that's for rules and case-based artificial intelligence. That artificial intelligence with reasoning, with artificial intelligence. I'm sorry. Let me back that up. Start over. Inference Corporation holds the patent for rules-based, case-based, artificial intelligent reasoning and decisioning software. This is, so when we talk about artificial intelligence just now kind of coming into play, no, artificial intelligence was introduced back in 1995 by Inference Corporation. And this is the way that the system is set up, is on this rules-based and case-based artificial intelligence decision-making. So basically and we'll go through this in more detail. We'll go through this patent in great detail. But what it was, it basically takes a decision out of your hands. It puts it into the hands of the intermediary that has control over that artificial person. Okay. And so the artificial person, of course, an artificial person can't think for itself, can it? It can't. It doesn't have body. It doesn't have a body. It just exists in form only. And but it's considered a person. And that person is being controlled by the intermediaries. And what this software does, it basically it puts the decisions into speculative reasoning about the decision that you would make. For instance, a decision that, oh yeah, sure, go ahead. I'll go ahead and relinquish all my rights, title, and interest and everything I fucking own to somebody else to make a decision for me. And I freely do that. And that's basically what these agreements entail. Okay. Now, Brightware, get down here to Brightware, an intellectual property security agreement. We'll go through these in more detail in future ones. Silicon Valley Bank, you're going to be seeing a lot of Silicon Valley Bank. But get down here to Okay, now Brightware is a subsidiary of Inference Corporation, as is this Mindbox down here. Mindbox is, we're going to really delve into Mindbox, very much so. Mindbox, I'm not going to go into detail about it here because it gets into a lot of diagrams I have to show you on these things, on Mindbox and Brightware and what they are. But they're the subsidiary corporations of Inference Corporation. They're the trademark side of this thing. It has to do a lot with information, has to do with their products that Art Enterprise, Art Creditor, Art Advisor, all these Art, ART. Get it? Art. We're dealing with art here. We're not dealing with we're not dealing with the language of legalese. We're dealing with the language of art. Okay, and that's when we talk about patents, trademarks. We're talking about art. Okay, so we're going to go through all these things, especially these agreements here, these trademark and patent security agreement and licenses and these licenses. Okay, so you'll see several here with Mindbox. And several of the iterations of Mindbox, what Mindbox has done as far as their business conglomerations. This one here is real interesting down here. Mindbox up. Maybe I should highlight these so it's easier for you to see these things instead of. Try to highlight it. Okay, so right here, Mindbox. Nah, it's okay. It's not going to do it. I got to do something with the document, so it's not recognizing the text. But anyhow, so Mindbox LLC in 2006 was merged with McDonald Detweiler Information. McDonald Detweiler is a multinational corporation whose main business is defense. They're a defense contractor. They make the drones that flew over in Iraq and in Afghanistan and Iraq. They've also got space technology. They're involved in satellite systems. They're not involved with Elon Musk. As far as I know, they're not involved with Elon Musk. But they decided to go into the insurance business and land recording. So there's a lot to talk about with McDonald Detweiler, a lot of things. And notice where everything was transferred from Mindbox over to Budapest, Hungary. Now, Budapest, Hungary is very interesting because because we have all these treaties that are involved. Budapest, Hungary is where there's oh shit, I think I remember the name of it now. Biological material. It's where biological material is registered in Budapest, Hungary under the treaties. Okay, so I'm throwing a lot out at you, and I know that I'm throwing a lot out at you, and I know that may seem overwhelming, but I want you to see, these people, everybody who's fighting these mortgage loans and fighting these in court, you're gonna start seeing you can't do it in court. You have to approach from this side because this is the origin point. Okay, so there's a series of this Mindbox transfers and security agreements and so on and so forth. Then we get into CoreLogic. CoreLogic, I love CoreLogic. It's a subsidiary of First American Financial, and there's about 10, 15 different versions of CoreLogic. But what they are is they're information brokers, information providers. They basically sell us out to anybody who will pay a price to use our information. And they're also the ones that rate our credit and all these things. And it has to do with land and information. And you'll see right here where it says Data Quick Information Systems. All these right here, these first three, all these first three are companies out of Luxembourg. Okay, they're all out of Luxembourg. So Bank of America is dealing with companies out of Luxembourg. Okay, Data Quick. Here we go right here. All these consolidate themselves into Property Data Luxembourg. Of course, it's signed to Bank of America. Okay, and then Property Data signs it to Decisions Group Information. These are all the same basic companies, just renaming themselves and spinning off of one another. Then you have assigns the entire right, title, and interest. This one, if I'm not mistaken, this one here or this one here. I think it's this one here. That's like an 80-page document. And we'll go through, like I said, we're going to go through these documents. I'm going to start putting each one of these up, and we're going to walk through them briefly, and I'll post them up so that everybody could see these things for themselves. One of these ones is a heavily redacted document. But you'll see what they're doing is they're laundering us through these companies over to Luxembourg, to Budapest, and other foreign entities. And you'll see here, you see TransUnion Settlement Solutions. I'm sure probably a lot of you have heard TransUnion before, that they had a merger incorporation with, well, back up here, somewhere up here, where was it? No, and one of these, like I said, these are kind of out of order, I think. I think they're backwards. It's 2011, there's 2013 here, 2000, so they're a little bit out of order. But MDA Lending Solutions used to be, it stands for McDonald Detweiler Associates, but it merged Mindbox into, and when Mindbox was bought by McDonald Detweiler, the spin-off company of Mindbox was MDA Lending Solutions. Okay, and so we're coming down here further. Accordance Technology, see those other things, and MDA Solutions assigns a title right to interest to McDonald Detweiler. So you see what they've done here. You see where they assigned it back to themselves, basically. Where is that here? Well, it's a rename. Well, at Mindbox LLC assigned a title interest to McDonald Detweiler, and then did a merger and changed themselves to MDA Lending Solutions. And then down here, it's reassigned back to McDonald Detweiler Solutions. And then, of course, then Bank of America is never far away, folks. So MDA Solutions then did a trademark security agreement assigning everything to Bank of America, NA, National Association, as an administrative agent. Okay, and then we're not done yet. We got more. We got more. I think we got one whole page yet to go. Then we've got again NDA Lending Solutions. Okay, this is going backwards. I've got it going backwards. It's just going in descending order when I should have gone the other way. So it's actually out of order here as far as the descending and ascending order. So you got System Inc. and App Intelligence. These companies here were a fledgling fraud technology fraud technology sending out the fraud detection software. I'm sorry, forgive me. My words aren't finding my mind. My brain's not finding my words right now tonight. So all these have to do with fraud detection software programs that the system that became Interthinks. Now, Interthinks, it should be well known to people, or maybe not, has a program called Broker Check and Fraud Check, which is really ironic because it sniffs out fraud, but it delays the fact that, well, you kind of stole their identity to begin with. So we're not, so what happens here is because our identity was stolen from us, we don't really even have a presence within the patents and trademarks, even though we are the subject of all these patents and trademarks. Okay, so we've got to get that back, and you're not going to get that back in civil law. You've got to get it back from the origin point. You got to fuck them up the ass, pardon my French, from the patent and trademark side. Okay, and then we get into the insurance end of this thing with ISO Claim Services, which is Insurance Services Organization. It's kind of like an ANSI, for standards and standards protocol. And we'll talk about a lot of that as well. And then we get into William Dallas. I hate this guy. I can't stand this guy. This guy is a son of a bitch. What he has done, how he has ripped people off and stolen from people with his programming and his knowledge, really, of intellectual properties. And he, of course, was the CEO of Ownit Mortgage Solutions. Okay, so that does it for this quick run through of a chain of title on a trademark side, with particular to our alleged mortgage loan. Like I said, this is just a small fraction of it. I did this several years ago. I need to update it, and I know it needs to be updated because I know that it goes in all different directions from here as well. This does not include a lot of things. This is just a small fraction of that chain of title. It'll infuriate you. It takes some time. I'm throwing a lot at you. I'm throwing a hell of a lot at you at this point in time. And you're getting just general information. And that's just You know, I don't know how else to do this thing because if I went through every one of these things individually, I think I'd lose you as opposed to going through and just throwing it all at you at once, so you could see the depth of this thing and how big this thing is, this monster, this that we're talking about here is. So anyhow, I'm gonna call that one a wraps on this one. Thank you for listening. Was it like, subscribe, and share. And if you can donate, that'd be fantastic. Once again, my name is Ken Doss, and as I'm going to call these right now, it's another Dost Ism. Thank you. Have a good night, guys.